Our guest today is one of the most influential figures in women's basketball in the last 30 years. One of the greatest passers and playmakers the game has ever seen, and recognised in the FIBA Hall of Fame earlier this year.
I wanted to be the best basketball player that I could be.
Born in Figueira da Foz, Portugal, she has followed her dream to become a NCAA sensation at Old Dominion University before becoming the face of Sacramento Monarchs and a generational playmaker in the WNBA and Europe, winning WNBA, Eurocup and EuroLeague championships, 7 league championships in 7 different countries, recognised in the top 25 players in history of WNBA, and inducted as a member of the FIBA Hall of Fame. Since her retirement from playing in 2013, she continues to shape women's basketball from another angle, as one of the most respected agents in the women's game.
My job is to bring them as many opportunities as possible, right? I'm going to give you option A, B, C, D, and then I'm going to help you decide which one is the best for you.
Currently in that role, she is VP and head of women's basketball at On Time Agency, representing superstars across the WNBA and Europe, and Australia's own NCAA basketball star, Georgia Amore.
You have to speak about Caitlin Clark. You have to speak about Angel Reece, the rivalry they had in college.
We are honoured to welcome a true pioneer of the women's game globally. Today is Ticha Penicheiro.
I think let's just start with, there's so much happening in women's basketball in the landscape, the shifting plates of leagues, players and so on. We've got, clearly the CBA negotiations going on with the WNBA, but then Project B has appeared on the scene. Unrivaled is going into its second year. Athletes Unlimited. Still the growth in China, Korea, Japan having imports for the first time. From your end, you've seen a lot of this going back right to the start of your career when, coming out of college, you had to make a choice at that time about, do I go to the WNBA or do I go to the ABL? Life's a bit more complicated at the moment than... what do you see as the biggest forces impacting women's basketball, and particularly the athletes that play and are really ultimately the game that we watch?
Yeah, I think the game is in great hands. The ladies work really, really hard to put the product out. I think a lot of people are just tuning in now and finding out what I've been knowing for a long time. Okay, women can actually play, and it's fun to watch. So for us on the women's side, it's just good to have options. It's not, you just don't have one league. You have so many other leagues that you can choose from. Some are at different parts of the year, so it allows you to play in 2 or maybe 3 different leagues. But I think it's also a profitable investment now. I think it's not just before owners or teams put in the money because they felt like it was something that they had to do, or it was like a charity or a tax write-off. Now I really feel like owners or teams or cities want a team because it's a profitable investment. You look at the Valkyries, the first time that they performed this year, and they are the most valuable team in the WNBA. So it is a good business as well.
Do you think there's, I mean, it's probably hard to say one thing, but are there a couple things that you think have been those big changes or movements that have made people focus on the women's game a lot more? You said a moment ago that people are seeing what you've always seen and what you've always known about the game. Do you think are there a couple things that have really helped change people's view on the game?
I think maybe a couple of players that start playing really well, that brought more eyes and more viewership to the game. I mean, you have to speak about Caitlin Clark. You have to speak about Angel Reece, the rivalry they had in college that also then finally translated into the WNBA. I always felt like there was a disconnect between the NCAA and the WNBA. I really never understood why, but I feel like that gap is smaller now, so it's good to see. And the level of play, I mean, I grew up wanted to be like Magic Johnson or Michael Jordan. I didn't have any women role players. When you think about it now, the WNBA has been around for 29 years. A lot of these women grew with the WNBA, grew up with the WNBA wanting to play. So now they started hiring, shooting coaches and trainers at the age of 10 or 12 to prepare. So I feel like the level of play has gone up, the skill, the physicality. The women are better now, more skilled. And I think that just helps the game in general.
I mean, you mentioned Magic Johnson, and I know that there are people out there who say that that's the comparison that they will say when it comes to his playmaking ability, and they hear your name in the same breath. But I feel like in this day and age, and I think that's what's really special, is that people are able to compare these young rookies to players like yourself. It's not about now comparing the young athletes coming through to the male athletes. It's comparing them to players like you and Maya Moore and these legends of the women's game. How important is that to you, or how special is that to you, that these young girls now have representations like you to look up to, rather than she plays like one of the men?
Yeah, I think that's super important. I always feel like little girls, like if you see it, you can be it, you can aspire to be it. Like I said, my role models were always male players, and it's so hard for me to dream about playing in the NBA. I know it was not very achievable. So for those little girls now to have not just women's basketball role models, but to have tennis, soccer, like there's so many women, gymnastics, swimming, that are just exploding around the world and being successful on the court, in the swimming pool, on the pitch. Like there's women just, being super successful. So it's really great for little girls to have those role models and not just having male role models.
So one of the things that I've heard the athletes that you represent say about you is that you believe strongly in know your worth and stay strong to that. So in the world that we're going through at the moment, with so many different choices that are emerging, how do you work with athletes to make the choices at the moment, which are much greater than they might have been 5 years ago?
Well, my job is to bring them as many opportunities as possible, right? I'm going to give you option A, B, C, D, and then I'm going to help you decide which one is the best for you. Every athlete is different. Every client is different. It's kind of your job as well as an agent to kind of know your players really well on a personal level, so you know what is the best option for them. So when you give them advice, it's not about yourself. It's about what's best for them. And really just help them make the right decision for their future, for their careers. So, I can pick a player and then it's like, okay, I'll talk to Unrival, I'll talk to Project B, I'll talk to WNBA, I'll talk to China, like Australia. Like, let's see, like, okay, so I have all this information. Let's sit down and see which one you think is the best fit for you, for your family, for your future, for your career. So I think that's the most important thing, is not just having one option, because you have so many options now. It would be, I wouldn't be doing my job if I just presented one option.
So can I, just to follow up on that, if you don't mind, so one of the things that's changing at the moment is how much things are changing so quickly. So I suppose the balance between certainty for the next 3 years for an athlete versus, well, do I wait and see what happens? And how are you working through that at the moment?
Well, sometimes if you wait too long, you might be late to the party, right?
Yeah.
So I think, again, it's, like even with Project B, it's so new. There's a lot of information that is not being told. Like, so you just have bits and pieces. So I will try to go straight to the source and get as much information as possible, so then I can relay it to the players. And again, just based on what is important to them. Some players is like, just send me where I can get the most money. But not all players are like that. It was never my number one thing. To me, it's like, yeah, you can make more money, but if you are miserable and you are in a place that is minus 40 every day, and you don't even see the sunshine, is that something that is going to make you happy, or you're going to be miserable and you're going to be calling me, telling me you want to leave? So like I said, it's just really important to gather all the information about everything and then just help the players make the best decision for each one of them.
I mean, we definitely want to chat about Project B, but I want to ask you, when it comes to some of these decision-making, the decisions these players and your players have to make, how much does your life experience, your lived experience as an athlete at the level that you are at, come into their decision-making? Like, do they say to you, what would you do in this scenario? Do they take that advice because they know they're speaking to someone who's not just an agent, but someone who lived and breathed what they're going through?
Yeah, I literally have been in their shoes. So I think to me, that's one of the advantages is that I have because I have basically lived everything they want to live. Like I've been overseas. I've had injuries. I've had coaches that didn't play me. I've started. I've not started. So everything they go through, most likely I've been through it. So I think it's easier for me to give advice because my advice is by experience, is because I actually lived in it. So yeah, a lot of times, and I really sometimes I really reinforce to them like to pick my brain and to ask questions
Yeah.
and not don't be worried about, oh, I don't want to bother you. No, this is my job and this is one of the main reasons why I wanted to be an agent, to just be not an agent, just but be a mentor, be a big sister, be someone that can relay the information that I have that I gather for many years so they can make, maybe better decisions than I made.
Is there a player that stands out that's really good at that? Is there one player who's always like, okay, what should I do? What would you do?
I think all of them actually, and I'm very specific about the players that I sign as well. I mean, obviously, I want good players, and they are super skilled, but I want good people. The people that are respectful, they're hard workers, they respect the game, respect myself,
Yeah.
and then it's just about growing the relationship so they do feel comfortable enough to ask me those questions, and it doesn't feel like they are bothering me. Like that's not it. This is my job and I take it seriously, and basically their careers are in my hands, and this is something that I take seriously, but they all do a good job at asking questions and always try to put myself in their shoes, which is not that hard.
I feel like that was almost a who's your favorite question.
Yeah,
I swear
yeah.
I wasn't asking who's your favorite.
Well, speaking of favourites, tell us a little bit about Georgia Amore. I mean, she's obviously close to home for us, and such a wonderful new talent, and going through a pretty tough year, having done a knee. But how did that relationship come about, and what can you tell us about Georgia?
Well, I think you need a new shirt because you need a Georgia Amore mentality, because just seriously, our mentality to go into training camp, so excited to be, playing a rookie season and then having to deal with the ACL when she barely had, like, she never even sprained an ankle, she never had like a major injury. So it was really, really tough. And from day one, the way she just looked at it is like, it's fine. I'm just going to get better. I'm going to work on other things that I never have the chance to work. And like I said, her mentality is second to none. And, she's someone that she's so young, but she's so wise and just very mature, very easy to talk to, and someone that I respect tremendously. And obviously she's a point guard, so I'm a little biased for point guards. But I'm very excited for the future. I'm very excited for her to be a rookie all over again next year.
Who does she remind you of? Which of the greats does she remind you of in her playing style?
I mean, I can even go back to Michelle Timms, someone that is Australian, point guard. Sometimes it's like, oh, you're too small, you're too short to play basketball, but just the grit, the determination, the IQ, the work ethic. I think when I look at Michelle Timms and everything that she had, I sit in Georgia. So, we'll see what kind of WNBA player she'll be, but I'm really excited to see how she will respond because she had a seat in, as a coach this year, something that she had never done before. To see basketball in those eyes, also like her IQ is already crazy. So I think it'll be
valuable.
very interesting to see. Yeah, see like to be like literally a coach. She had a board in hand, was drawing plays, was very engaged. So I think it gives you a different perspective when you're that young and you're a point guard to like now all of a sudden you have a head coach, a coach that is also a player. So I think it'll be very interesting to see how she'll play next year.
Well, look, Bez, we might move on to this beautiful piece of storytelling that's been done on Ticha. And Ticha, you must be really proud of the. I'm not going to call it a documentary because having watched it, it's more like to me, it's a genuine film, and it premiered a month ago, and it's been released in Portugal, and it's just a beautiful piece of storytelling of your story from a young girl in Portugal having a dream, making your way to the NCAA with Old Dominion, and then all the way to the WNBA. And maybe just start with it must be a proud moment for you and a proud moment for your family in particular. And obviously your father passed away a couple of years ago, so that there's a lot of memories that come with that. Maybe just start with, how did it come about? It's storytelling in the women's game is not the greatest strength over the last 25 years. How did this project come about?
So I am an ambassador for the federation here in Portugal, and also for this company that preaches equality, and they are a sponsor of the federation as well. So they actually brought the idea up to me, and I'm like, really? I mean, you feel like my story is worth of a documentary? Okay, cool. So they hired a production company. Everybody's from Portugal, so obviously they knew my name, but I don't even think they knew my story. So yeah, that's kind of how it started, and we recorded it like a couple years ago. I mean, like you mentioned, my dad passed away, but he never got a chance to see the final product, but he did get a chance to be in the film and to give his testimony, which is super important for me because he's the reason why I started playing basketball. But yeah, we filmed, and it was supposed to be like a 45-minute documentary story, and then all of a sudden, I mean, they had so much to work with that we decided to make it an hour and a half, and we did premiered on October 30th at Tribeca here in Lisbon, and it was great. I mean, the feedback that I've had has been amazing, and what I want is my story to be inspirational to a little girl from a little town that has like 30,000 people, from a little country that obviously soccer is the main sport. To be able to go to the States, kind of just following your dreams and be able to accomplish everything and more that I could ever dreamed of, I think is inspirational, and is obviously a lot of hard work. And like you mentioned, my parents believe that okay, I'm telling my age, but like early 80s, their little girl could do anything that my older brother could do. Like for me to play basketball, and for my parents to be like, okay, yeah, cool. You don't have to stay home and play with your dolls. You can play basketball like your brother.
Hell yeah.
That was everything. And then when I told them that I wanted to go to the States at age 18, and they'd be like, wait, I mean, there's no internet. There's no WhatsApp. There's no FaceTime. Like I had to literally write letters to them. So the communication is not like it is today. So for my parents to also give me the green light to do that, it was amazing. And, I always wanted to make them proud, and I think I did that.
I mean, we had that conversation in our last episode with Lastia Poa, Samoan Australian athlete, who talked about that connection to family and the support, because she went out there, she did JUCO, she was 17. And, at least now there's social media, there's FaceTime, and there's all these opportunities to be able to connect and follow your child. But back then for your family, the fact that they were able to support you and drive you to succeed in whatever avenue you wanted to go through, to go to the other side of the world is crazy. It's incredible that they were willing to support you in that manner. If we could reflect back on you as a young girl growing up in Portugal in that small town of 30,000 people, what's one of your earliest memories when it comes to basketball?
Going into the playground that I'm very lucky because it's literally across the street from my house. So I think it was meant to be, because it's not like, especially back then, you just don't have playgrounds everywhere, right? So to have one across the street from my house where I could literally go home, like do my homework super fast and then just go and play. A lot of the times I was the only girl, in the middle of a bunch of boys, and they didn't think that I could play or should play. And sometimes they would have like 7, and okay, if she plays, it'll be 4-on-4. Okay, let's play. And then slowly being accepted, and then going from that to being almost like the first one to get picked. And having my brother, like I followed him everywhere, and he was my protector and my number one fan. And he actually had the dream of going to the States, but he never went. So he kind of passed it on to me. So that was kind of my early memories, just playing with the boys in the playground.
When did you realize this could be more than just a fun game to play?
I don't think I realized that it could be like a job. I realized that I wanted to be the best basketball player that I could be. And for that, I had to go to the States. Like, I was like, I want to give myself a chance to be amongst the best coaches, to also be able to, be in a university where I can get my degree, but also play there, which is completely different in Portugal or anywhere in Europe. You go to a club, you don't play in school. So I wanted to go to the States. So I felt like if I get there, then I'll figure it out and we'll see where this goes. But I think maybe when like my junior year in college, and then they announced the WNBA. I think maybe I was like, okay, maybe I can play in the WNBA. Maybe I can, be a professional basketball player. So I think that's kind of where kind of the light bulb went off, but not when I left Portugal. I think that the goal was different then.
It's interesting. One of the things I love in the film is they talk about the odds of things happening. What are the odds that somebody like you, Ticha, could come from where you've come from? Remember, Portugal is not the heartbeat of women's basketball in the 1980s or the 1990s. So you're doing a lot of firsts here. But life's also a bit about sliding door moments, and I'm interested in the role Alison Green played in bringing you to Old Dominion. Could you just talk a little bit about her and the sliding door moment of how she came to watch you and what happened from that?
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, it's just sometimes I feel like your steps are already ordered and you just have to follow the lead. I mean, and you have to have a little bit of luck in the midst of all the hard work and all the dedication and the sacrifices that you do. So that was, again, I knew I wanted to go to the States, but I didn't know how to go. Like, I can get online. There's no internet. There's no services to take players to the States. So that was just a moment where she was a professional basketball player. She was playing in Portugal. She watched me play when I was 16. And then she went back and I gave her after the game, like we played them, and she was like, "You're really good. Like, you should go to the States." I said, "I want to, but I don't know how." And I gave her my landline number. It was my parents. It was a rotary phone. I don't know if you definitely don't know what that is.
Just for all those young people out there, that's actually a phone.
Yeah.
Hey, I had one of those too.
Exactly. Yeah, so she goes back and she becomes the assistant coach at Old Dominion. If she was the assistant coach at a Division III school, that's probably what I would have ended up. So everything kind of worked out. And then the head coach came to scout me, and she was like, okay, yeah. And then I took 2 more friends with me. So we were like very good, and we competed at the highest level. We were top 25. But Alison was someone that I knew that she cared about me more than just a basketball player. And that was important to me because being away from your family, you kind of want to find another family, someone that cares for you on a personal level. And I knew that she was going to do that. And we are, very close till today. And she understands that, she was the bridge for me to make it to the States.
Going to take a quick break and hear from our sponsors.
Some of us have vaped around little brothers and sisters. These kids could be breathing toxic chemicals without them even knowing. I don't think it's worth it vaping at all.
Look, we mentioned a name before, Mr. Magic Johnson, and I guess comparatively when it comes to your playmaking ability and your passing, that it's still renowned as one of the best that the game has ever seen. When it comes to that natural instinct that instinct that you have to pass in that way and to play in that way, is that something that is a natural instinct, or is that something you feel like you've developed? And if so, where did you develop that? Do you feel like it came on board more in America or playing on the streets in Portugal?
Oh no, when I got to America, I was already like this. So definitely made in Portugal. But I definitely feel like it's a natural thing that I can't really explain it. But sometimes I compare it to someone that can sing or that can draw, and I feel like they were born with it, right? So to me, obviously, I really enjoyed playing, and I think I had that little touch that some people don't have, the vision, the trying to anticipate a play. And a lot of it was playing with the boys in the playground because they were stronger, they were more physical, they were more athletic. So I feel like they would try to block my shots. So I'm like, no. So I would develop like a passing, skill because I would try to avoid being blocked by them. But I definitely feel like it's something that obviously I worked on it, but I think it was also natural to me.
So definitely #made in Portugal.
Well,
yes.
One of the great things in the film is the number of times that people recount the story that you basically hit people in the head with your pass, because your pass was, a second ahead of their thinking as to what was going to happen. and there's some just beautiful B-reel clips of some of the passes you made, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But I also was struck by one of your clear beliefs is that basketball is what I do, basketball is not who I am. And I imagine that's been a journey through your life to sort of explore that and be strong to that. Where did that thinking evolve, and when did it evolve, and why is that so important to you?
Actually, I think it evolved later in my career because a lot of times I took the losses really bad. My family even knew, like, don't talk to her. Like, I would, after we would lose a game or I played bad, I would go in the car and I barely would talk to them. And then I think it was later in my career, I had two of my close friends that both were diagnosed with cancer, not at the same time, but at a different time. One was ovarian cancer and another one was breast cancer. And they were like my sisters. So I'm like, okay, I'm mad because I lost a basketball game and I played bad, and tomorrow they have to go do chemo. So it just puts life in perspective where obviously I was very competitive and I wanted to win. And, you kind of feel like this is my job, and I felt like I didn't perform well today. So I feel like I did have a reason to be upset, but to the point of shutting the world down because it just put life in perspective. So the way they handle it, their situation with so much grace, and I felt like, to me, I'm actually healthy and I'm playing the game that I love, and I'm over here mad at the world. I felt like it wasn't fair. So it just helped me, kind of rationalize things a little bit better. And then, like, okay, it is, basketball is what I do. So I'm going to try to do my best. And if it's not enough, like, this is not even soccer. A team, we can tie, like, a team has to win, and it's not going to be me or my team all the time. So I'm just going to try to leave it on the court. And when I leave, I'm going to enjoy my friends, my family, the way that they deserve to for me to enjoy them. So I think that situation with my friends really put life in perspective and really goes back to, basketball is what I do, but it's not who I am.
Yeah, well, look, I love sports documentary. I love the storytelling piece, and Ticha, that it's a beautiful piece of storytelling. It sits, one of my favourite series is the ESPN 30 for 30. It's sort of, I brought my kids up on it. We watch it together as a family, and this film, Feel the Magic, fits really comfortably in that space. So you should be super proud, and
Thank you.
We're really honoured that you shared the film with us, and we'll share it in our links so that people can have a look at it, and we hope more and more people get to see it over the coming time. And perhaps a bit of a transition, because the film takes us to the end of your playing career, and we're going to come back to a couple of questions on that in a minute. But a lot of athletes finish and then sort of like, well, what's next? And so you're sitting there. I think your last game was with Chicago, and then I think you finished in Europe later that year. The evolution to becoming an athlete representative and an agent, how did that come about, and how quickly was that in your playing career? Did it happen after you stopped, or how did that come about?
No, I didn't want to be one of those athletes that the ball stops bouncing and you are like, okay, what do I do now? So I prepared myself my last year, 2012. I prepared myself so when I knew that was my last shot, my last assist, the last time that I would play, that I could go very smoothly into the next profession. Because, I played in the WNBA, so you can't really retire in the right sense of the word, because, okay, I still have to continue to play. I didn't make that much money for me to just live comfortably and go watch, So I knew that I didn't want to coach. I knew that I didn't want to have the same
Every player says they don't want to coach. Players, all the best players say, I don't want to coach. But people must have come to you and said, come on, be a coach.
Oh, a lot of people were like, you're going to be a great coach. I'm like, I don't want to coach. I was point guard. I felt like I coached all my life, telling people where to go and what to do. So I'm like, I don't want to do that again. I didn't want to be inside of a gym. I didn't want to have to watch film. I didn't want to have the same routine as I did as a player, or I basically did all my life. And I wanted something that gave me a little bit more flexibility, where I was able to come home, be with my family, because I miss so many birthdays, funerals. I mean, I miss so much, because I was always away. So the more I started thinking about it, I was just like, I definitely wanted to stay close to the game. I want to, give back to the game that gave me so much. So the more that I start thinking about it, it just started making sense. So I just prepared myself. And as soon as the last game ended, I was ready to move on into the next thing.
What do you feel like has surprised you the most about the business side of basketball?
That
If
is a
anything.
business. That is a business. Unfortunately, sometimes, you love basketball so much and you feel like, oh, your team is your family and everything. And then, you get cut, like a player gets cut and they call you and they were like, listen, I just want to let you know that they let me go. So that's the hardest thing, in the professional level, especially in the WNBA. To have, I've dealt with, some of my clients crying because they just feel like at that point, just feel like the world is going to end and you're not worth it and you're not good enough. And it's really hard to feel those words like, we're going to let you go. And then sometimes in Europe, I would say Europe, even though like there's other places, but just dealing sometimes with teams that are not very professional. You sign a contract and it's just a piece of paper because you get the first of every month. The players don't get paid. You got to beg to get your money. So that part is the hardest thing, to deal with unprofessional clubs, which I try not to do. And then when your players get a serious injury like Georgia or they get cut, I feel that like I cry with them, literally because I know exactly how they feel and it's just very tough.
And if you think back to just the early years post your career and as an agent, the players today in the world they're working in, what's different now than 10 years ago for what you as an agent need to do for the players nowadays?
Oh, everything. I mean, since social media, the players are a brand. I just care about basketball. I'm like, I want to win. I want my team to do well. I want to play my best. Now the players they are a brand. They're the social media. They want to have marketing deals. They want to do PR. They want to have podcasts. They want to be models. They want to do all kinds of things, which is great because no one wants to be in a box. So I think in that regard, there's so many more opportunities for players. They also create financial opportunities and, bigger paychecks. But it's completely different from when I played.
Can I ask one more question about that? What do you feel like the thing that people maybe get wrong or they might think about, how it is to be a player agent that is a misconception or something they don't get right?
Well, I mean, to me, like I live in Miami, so a lot of times, people think that I don't do anything, like that I'm just on the beach and
You're not hanging out by the beach,
and I go and I'm on a boat, and I'm like,
isn't that what the movie Entourage
dinner?
pretty much said that's the lifestyle in Miami?
I mean, it is. I don't really go out that much, but because they see a social media post, I'm like, okay, so you want me to post every time I'm on a Zoom? Which is like all the time, or I'm always on my phone or answering emails, so that's the misconception about myself. I don't know what other misconception is, but at the end of the day, to me, I just laugh it off, because people that know me, like my friends know when we go to dinner, no one can be on the phone but me, because I'm like, I have two phones. So if my work phone rings or I have a text message, I will reply because I will get anxiety knowing that a player reached out to me and I'm not replying right away. But yeah, I mean, we work hard. We're always on the phone. We try to provide the best opportunities for our players for sure.
Well, we're going to move into a little segment we call Rapid Fire, and it's just a chance. We're going to zip through a few questions and sort of 1-word, 2-word answers we're looking for, Ticha. So, and we're going to test you on a few things. So, Bez, why don't you jump in first?
I'll jump in. Just so you know, Tony gets really snappy. So if you make it too long, he'll be telling us off. Let's start with, if you could write one rule into the next WNBA CBA, what would it be?
Pension. So the former players can, get some money from all the years of service that we had.
That's a good one.
Good one. Favorite assist you ever threw?
Probably to Candace Parker. Obviously, she's one of the GOATs. And, we didn't get a chance to play much in LA together because she had a shoulder injury. But if you go on YouTube and you watch my top 10, she's the number one. So I'll just go with that one.
That's a good one. Most underrated player in the WNBA in history?
In history?
Underrated.
Oh, my God. Oh. I don't know. Sorry,
an
Tony,
underrated
this
player.
Might take a while.
Maybe just an underrated player.
I would say Rebecca Brunson. She was the glue for us at Sacramento. She's actually the player that has the most rings in the history of the WNBA. She has 5. No one has more than 4. And everywhere she went, she was just the glue. She made offense, defense, just made everybody better.
A player today who reminds you of you?
Maybe Chelsea Gray a little bit. I mean, I think she's more of a scorer now than she was maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I think back then she was more a distributor, but she has that flair. She actually is from the Bay Area, so she grew up watching me play in Sacramento. I think this was rapid fire. I'm sorry. I like answer.
No, you're good. You're good. We love storytelling.
I apologize.
Now, I'm going to ask this one because
I
I've watched a few things of Ticha, and this one I sort of made up because... So would you trade the 2005 WNBA ring for Old Dominion beating Tennessee in 1997 NCAA championship game? It's a yes or a no? Or a maybe?
No, I don't think. I think it's a no, because then if I had 2005 and 2006, I would trade one of those. Because that game is the game that haunts me the most out of my career. Like if I could go like right now, I would go play that game right now to try to get that win against Tennessee. But I don't think I would trade it because then I wouldn't have a WNBA ring.
Fair. This is one of our favorite questions. If you could only bring 3 people to dinner, name the 3 guests.
Like anyone?
Anyone.
Okay, I would say Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, and Kobe Bryant.
I feel like we're going to need to get a tally because I feel like there's some similarities happening with these names. Also, just to add,
I didn't say any women because I've had dinner with everybody.
True.
Idolize, right? So those are people that I
you haven't had dinner with.
I never get a chance to have dinner with them. So.
And what are you having for dinner and who's cooking?
My mom will cook. And not cow tongue, Tony. I know you watched the documentary, so no, we're not going to eat cow tongue. I'm going to be respectful. But we're going to eat some Portuguese. We're going to eat bacalhau, so like codfish. There's a lot of different ways to make it, and my mom makes it really good. So we're going to eat codfish. So I'm going to introduce that to those 3 gentlemen.
Oh, wow.
That was last year said her mom's cooking too.
Okay.
And last one, one word to describe the next chapter of your life.
Fun, you just sometimes when you play, you just forget to have fun in life. I always have fun on the court, but I was so like professional. Like I didn't go out. My friends would go out. I'm like, no, I got a game tomorrow. No, I have practice. So, just want to enjoy life. It goes by super fast. So just really want to enjoy my family, my friends, and do fun stuff.
That's beautifully answered.
Just before we close, we've got, I suppose, recency bias tells us we have 3 to 4 generational talents in front of us at the moment. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reece, Paige Beckers, maybe Juju Watkins. How are they different in your view, or are they different than what of the generational talents might have been 10 years ago, 15 years ago in the league, or are they different in the way the world sees them at the moment? And I'm just interested in your views as to, the differences.
Yeah. I think they have more cameras on them, so I think we are aware of every step that they take, whether it's off the court with marketing or it's on the court because of the amazing games they have. But if you look at Lisa Leslie, if you look at Cheryl Swoops, like Lauren Jackson, there's so much talent back then. We just watch one game a week, maybe. There's no league pass, there was nothing, So I just feel like these players have like under a microscope, like we know everything they do, like. So it's a little bit different. So I don't know if the people are different. I just think the circumstances are different.
Talking about one of those players, you talk about rookies and young players coming into the game. You can't miss talking about Caitlin Clark. And she broke your record for total assists and a single game record for assists. Did you think it was going to take this long for somebody to break your record? And 2, what sort of insights do you feel like you have when it comes to Caitlin and her playing style?
I'm a huge fan. people talk about her shooting, I always talked about her passing. I just felt like she made her teammates better. And then you can see that more in the WNBA because she has better talent around her that she did at Iowa. But I was always a fan of her vision, how she made her teammates better. And if I thought that was going to take that long, I mean, records are meant to be broken, and her talent is someone that obviously I respect tremendously. So for her to break my record, if somebody had to break it, I think is great that is her. She also played more games, you know. So
there we go.
And also the way they count assists these days is not like back then. So that's just, you know, my 2 cents.
You were described in the documentary as extremely competitive, so I think that part just came out again.
Once a player, always a player?
No, I'm playing. I mean, I'm playing. It is, all these things are true, but I'm glad that you know, she did break it. She's someone, like I said, I respect tremendously. I just hope that she'll be healthy for a full season next year.
Thank you so much for your time. Tony honestly it's really great having this relationship with Tony where we get to learn from each other. And I feel like me in particular, I get to learn so much from Tony, and the admiration that he has for you is second to none. And it's just really special to have this opportunity to talk to you. You're a trailblazer on and off the court, and a huge advocate, a powerful advocate when it comes to athletes, and then now in your ability to be able to support them off the court, having been in their position. So as your journey continues to shape the global game and your voice in this moment, it is just as important, if not more, than it ever was before. So thank you for your time, and we can't wait to stay in touch.
Thank you.
Just a complete honour. Thank you so
much for having me.
Oh, thank you for joining
us. Thanks for having me.